be underway in the draft. CV Stonk squad, Grim Reapers, and Caitlyn coming through for the Stonk squad. It's going to be interesting to see how they develop their bands here because we didn't get to see it earlier. Mordekaiser.
Oh, yep,
Go ahead.
Mordekaiser. Oh, you're good, Kendo.
Okay.
Mordekaiser's gonna get panned out. Don't want to see that coming again from the top lane. That was really good coming in from Bangin' Booty. Leona's gonna be the second ban out coming in from the Stonk squad. I mean, I think that Bully played that exceptionally well, but even though you do ban it out, it is still a really strong champ pool coming in from Bully. He still has the Blitzcrank coming through. He still has a couple of other champions available to him. Rakan as well is going to get banned out, so we won't be seeing any of that Cassiopeia Rakan shenanigans coming into this game. Reapers, their last ban is going to be here in just a moment, but Viego is the last ban coming in from the Stonk squad, and there's Cassiopeia coming in as well.
My goodness, the full-on trauma bans coming out of GRIN Reapers. It's like, I don't want to play that again, ever again, no. But that will leave them susceptible to the Stonk squad, and we mentioned this before. Stonk squad, I get the feeling you're going to see the, ooh, okay. The question is that Senna support or Senna ADC?
That's why you pick it, Kendo. It has that flexibility coming through. So we could either see Table or we could potentially be seeing Waka go for it. We could pair that with the Thresh, or you could have Senna go for that one for the support, and then you could see the Ezreal coming through as well. Amumu looking to be the first hover coming in for the Reapers, and so that's going to be a good tank, good initiator, good stun in a full group composition that the Reapers could potentially go for, and they're going to pair that in the first pick with the Vayne.
Oh my, now this is going to be very interesting. GRIN Reapers, I don't believe we've actually seen Amumu yet on any of the streams that we've had thus far, which is a lot of fun. I got to double check the statistics to see how many plays Amumu has in league play thus far, because I'm not sure it is that high at the moment. So it's very interesting. It's a fun jungler by all stretches of the imagination, but it is a susceptible jungler to invaders such as Nidalee.
And you're going to be picking up the Nautilus as well. So it's a Nautilus Senna bottom lane for the Stonk squad. Something that Waka likes to use. He likes the champions with the hooks. And you're going to be giving that to him in this composition, Kendo. On top of that, you said it correctly, Nidalee loves that early game pressure. She loves ganks where their lane that she's ganking has the ability to root, has the ability to keep people in place so that she can go for those long range spears. And that is exactly what this bottom lane can do for this Nidalee and for Stonk squad. Urgot going to be picked up. I believe that Feathers and Fur should be back in the round, back in the game. I'm assuming that that is for him. And we get into our next little ban phase, Kendo. I mean, we still have the top lane and the mid lane ready to go for the Stonk squad. A lot of bans could potentially get chosen.
The Blitzcrank being banned out by Stonk squad. Yet the support battle, I feel like, is going to be the focus of the bans for the CB Stonk squad. GRIN Reapers looking to ban up top, most likely, as the Aurelia will come through. It's going to be a good balance here. The GRIN Reapers have a very interesting tanky build to start themselves out with, but they're going to have to finish it off with some very crucial pieces, and a lot of AP may be of necessity. A Kassadin ban on the back end as well. That is very interesting.
Makes
sense.
We do
see the Braum. Yeah, it does make sense.
Billy Willard had a really good game last week for them against VBU Neon. And on top of that, they also get the counter pick in the mid lane. Because support was already shown, they knew that they could go for the counter pick or go for the support pick in the Braum, which is what they're able to do. And now Stonk Squad is going to have to reveal their hand. What do they play in the mid lane, and what do they play in the top lane? We've got a Lilia coming through. This changes everything, Kendo. Lilia can go in the jungle, could go in the mid lane, or go in the top lane. Nidalee can go in the jungle and go in the mid lane. And that
Yes.
just confuses everything, but we do get the action
Oh,
coming
let's
through.
go.
Action is coming, and it is a mid-blind pick action, Kendo, moving into game 2.
I don't know about doing this blind, but you know what? Thumbs up, let's do this. We have the proverbial Leroy Jenkins on his way in. Grappling hook and all, just swinging from the all sides of the rift. Seraphine coming in as the last member of the Grin Reaper squad. I am actually very interested in that pick because you do get a lot of the CC. You do get the AP burst that you were really hoping for. The one thing that was truly missing, the going up against an action as well. This could get very dicey. If you're that action, you're gonna probably end up being the focus here early with a couple ganks from the Nidalee.
Yep, I'm assuming that it is going to be Nidalee in the jungle. Lilia is going to be the play in the top lane here to go up against the Urgot in the Feathers and Fur. So taking a look at your lineup for the Stonk squad, you've got one main tank coming in from the Nautilus. Going to have to build full tank on this one. Senna, then Nidalee, then Lilia, then Action. You've got a lot of backline, but you've got a lot of poke. You've got the bowling ball from the Lilia. You've got the Boomer, or the Avengerang, pardon me, coming in from the Action. You've got spears and roots and long Qs from the Senna, from the Action, from the Lilia. All of it comes through into the mid game. It's gonna be boiling down to whether or not this Nidalee in the jungle, which I'm assuming is played in the jungle, it could potentially still be a top lane jungle pick or a top lane Nidalee pick. I doubt it, though. I doubt it. But at the end of the day, Kendo, this is looking like a very interesting mid-game game coming in from both teams.
Well, this is also one of those compositions that I really like Action in, because you can go in, you can be a little bit reckless. You have the insurance of Action being on the back end of some of these attacks to bring you back off of that cooldown timer just a little bit sooner. So mid to late game, CB Stonk squad are looking very good, especially with the Senna being able to have time to stack, having even more range going into it than the Nautilus. 3 items. So once you get to that 2-3 items on the Nautilus, that's one tanky boy. You don't always want to count on your support to be your mainstay tank, just due in part to the fact that so many items are required to tank, being the solo tank job. But therein lies the disparity. If you're Grin Reapers, let's focus on that, because only one tank, and it's a tank that's not going to be as effective as, say, the Urgot in the top lane or the Amumu in the jungle. We got ourselves a chance. Let's cut that tank down.
Urgot, though, I mean, Urgot can still build tanky. He's going to be playing more of that kind of like ranged bruiser-wise. But I'm really excited for these 5-man fights that the Grin Reapers are going for. You've got the initiation from the Amumu to then get the Curse of the Sad Mummy onto several members potentially for a stun, into the Encore from Billy Willard to stop them from being able to fight against Travis. And once Travis gets going, once he starts getting those, gets that damage into the mid game, into the late game, he can just start obliterating some of these weaker health bars coming in from the Senna, from the Nidalee, from the Lilia. You do have a little bit of healing in that as well. The Senna and the Nidalee are going to be able to go for a little bit of healing throughout that to maybe mitigate a little bit of that damage. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a huge composition for Grin Reapers, a huge team fight for them if they're able to get it, which tells me Grin Reapers, they're going to be wanting to play how Stonk Squad wanted to play. Still wanting to be able to have that early aggression. They don't want to be on the back burner, and they don't want to let Stonk Squad be able to run the rift early on.
Yeah, absolutely not. And this is going to be a very interesting one that I Again, these two teams have found a way to enthrall us with their picks. The compositions by no means they've been a little bit off meta, but not so off meta that you're spectacularly wondering, okay, what's going on? Is this just memeing on me? I love what we are getting thus far. You don't always get a Mumu and a Vayne, let alone on the same team. And then you throw in the fact that you have the lone Seraphine as the AP powerhouse for the GRIN Reapers. This is going to be of the utmost interest to me. There are a few weaknesses here and there, but they're select weaknesses that can be overcome with proper gameplay. So, will it all shake out? That is the question that I have going forward as we are going to be getting ready for the match.
Yep, Stevie's Stonk Squad versus the GRIN Reapers. Game number 2 action coming to you live in just a couple of moments. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back before you know it. See you guys shortly. everyone, we are back. Game number 2, Excellency Elite League coming to ya. We've got the CB Stonk squad in the blue. We've got the GRIN Reapers in the red, Kendo. And we got ourselves a really important game too.
Yeah, it is of the utmost importance. If you are CB Stonk squad, put this team away as early as possible. Anderson Cooper probably gonna have nothing to do with that though. The absolute evil, the most hideous, grievous of evils in emote form. We're having a little bit of a negotiation by the look of it. Whoa!
Whoa, Kendo. That shot's fired. That shot's fired coming in from Rock. That is unreal. Oh, the savage emote play coming in from Rock. 10 out of 10 performance.
My goodness. Okay, so the one difference that we do have going into this game, Feathers and Fur gonna be in for their team, the Grin Reapers, and we've already seen Feathers and Fur, very, very, very talented top laner.
Indeed, you know, he doesn't have that loss in the last game, so his standings as the MVP in 19 plays are going to remain intact. But, I mean, looking at what Feathers and Fur has been able to do in the first 3 weeks, 6th highest in gold per minute, 3rd highest CS per minute, and the 9th highest vision score as a top laner. Extremely potent to go up against Booty Bang and Billy, and he's playing as his most played champion in the league as the Urgot. Now going to be looking to potentially get his team, the GRIN Reapers, their first win of this series, Kendo, after a very shocking game 1.
It was a very shocking endeavor. I don't know that the league expected the CB Stonk squad to find their way into our hearts with a game number 1 win, but the entire league has been put on notice, as now the Grin Reapers, they know better. You know, you don't want to allow this team to have another one under their belt, because everyone at the top is looking at what's going on right now.
So we got a bit more of a CC-oriented center coming in from table. Going to be picking up the Glacial Augment, meaning that she's going to be able to slow down some of these champions, make it a little bit easier maybe for Waka to find those hooks. We'll see how that plays out for them moving in through this laning phase. Other than that, I mean, a little bit of a quicker clear coming in from Anderson Cooper. Borok going to leave up his Raptors and his Gromp to be able to be ready for the Scuttle Crab in the top side of the Rift. Should be able to pick that up with Cooper being fairly low, so he will race down to the bottom side to pick up the Scuttle Crab in that bottom river.
And they're going to get a little help from the Seraphine while they're at it. May see a top lane gank. It does not look like it. It looks like they'll just path that way, potentially seeing the ward as well. The exchange of Scuttle Crabs. The one thing that I do like what I'm seeing already out of Barok is I do think the early aggression onto Anderson Cooper as Anderson Cooper heading towards the bot lane. There's a gank inbound.
A lot of John okay, will have to flash away. Nice route. Unfortunately, not going to get too much out of it, though. As we do get Cooper going back in with the Bander's toss. Going to get rooted by Waka. A lot of damage on the table. Going to be around 200 HP, but will be just fine. As we get to see in the top lane, Rock going to take away the Krugs from the Sad Mummy.
Indeed. Counter ganking. One of the most important facets of League of Legends. You have to make sure if your opponent does something in the opposite lane and you just happen to be across from them, that you are taking some of their all-important resources, making them pay, especially if they end up failing to get the full-on gank.
Oh, table missing that ever important cannon minion. Ugh, rough to see. When you see it on screen, you have to call it out. You have to be like, hey, you gotta check that. But regardless, still an even CS game coming in from both teams. Feathers and Fur in the top lane, trying to keep Booty Bang and Billy as the Lilia now on notice. Still has an extra pot, but wasn't able to go back a little earlier. Meanwhile, does look like we are going to get the clear from Ruck to pick up both his Krugs and his Raptors. Maybe going in for a gank before he goes back. Waka back to full HP, Kendo. So far, a fairly tame game.
Yeah, and I was going to mention before.
All right, everyone. Appreciate your guys' patience. Appreciate you guys stopping by and waiting for us to get everything figured out. Shout outs to the team here at XLNC to keep things rolling, figuring out whatever issues we've got. Kendo, we were just getting started into a really fun game 2.
Yeah, and it was a very interesting game, a very enthralling game. And we were just talking about the fact that the invades, the small little interactions this Nidalee is going to be having with the Amumu are going to be of the utmost importance, because that Nidalee can take down the Amumu very quickly. A single spear, an auto attack here or there, that's half the health gone already. So can the Nidalee continue to keep the pressure on in the jungle? And then, of course, we mentioned the counter jungling. The counter jungling going to be also of the utmost importance.
We saw a little bit of counter jungling, and now we are back. So we're going to get a little bit of that root again. We saw that nice play coming in from table, being able to keep Waka alive there in that one as we get the bandage toss right back in onto Cooper. But no one goes down in that play. But remember, throughout that, and we saw Rock being able to take those Krugs, but nothing really else crazy happening out of that fight.
Nope, not too much, other than, as you mentioned, Barak taking the Krugs, getting the counter jungling in. And at this point, it's been interesting all the way around. The one thing that, once again, we are going to be looking at is the vision. The vision was something that CB Stonk Squad were able to own. They were able to take control early. And I'm looking at Sussy Waka again to do just that.
Well, I expect him to still have a pretty high vision score, but playing as a Nautilus, he's a slow boy. He's a slow boy running across the rift. So I do expect him to stay a little bit more towards the bottom lane, having vision towards the river area. I don't expect him to move towards the top lane to get any vision there. So it's going to be up to Booty Bang and Billy to be able to make sure that he keeps that vision going, which he has been, thanks to a little bit of help from Barak not going for the Oracle lens. Neither team going for early Oracle lenses so far. Dragon is up. It is a Mountain Drake for this one, so keep that in mind. We're gonna get an Infernal, Cloud, or Ocean, depending. But a little bit of pushing forward in the bottom lane from Table and Waka, just going to keep Bully and Travis at bay. And Kendo, I mean, action as well in mid lane, keeping consistent with Billy Willard. Yeah. They're both about level 6. Pretty
Yeah.
close game.
This is literally tit for tat, back and forth between these two teams, and it's a stark difference compared to what we saw in the last match. The last match about this time, we already had 3, 4, 5 kills under our belts. The fact that both these teams are slowing things down, it adds another intriguing element.
Anderson Cooper gonna get spotted out by that ward. Thumbs up from Waka, so does deny any potential gank there, but the Skullcraft is up, so we will get Cooper being able to pick that one up. Available to get that extra little bit of CS. 9 CS in the lead up against Rock so far in the early game. I mean, that's nothing to stop that, but we are going to get the extended gank coming through. Cooper is there, but a nice little shadow coming in from table to keep Waka and the Senna both alive. As we move down, maybe Billy Willard looking to go for something. Nope, going to get the disengage.
Yeah, it's been safe gameplay thus far for both squads. Maybe a little bit of a blue chip investment for the Stonk squad compared to some of the high risk maneuvers that we saw in game number 1. It's going to be very telling as we do get a gank in the mid lane.
Wilting Lullaby, but the Encore is going to land so much damage onto Lillard, and Bully will barely be able to get out of that one. So Ultimate's flash going to be used by Willard, but nothing going down. Really interesting to see that engagement from Billy. Other than that, that's been the most excitement we've seen in the last 2 minutes.
That also being said, the Nidalee falling slowly behind the Amumu as far as the CS portion of things go. Focusing a lot more on buff grabs and objective positioning in the game, along with the ganks that we've seen. We've already seen 3. Barack looking for more as the spear will miss on Anderson Cooper. You don't want to fall behind 2 levels, though. That would be a huge gap.
Cooper is already 6, so Curse of the Sad Mummy is online. Rock is going to get rooted. Bandage toss, not going to go, but still has that available. Because Rock is not level 6, he doesn't really need 6 to be in this fight, but this could be a very important 4v4 here in the early game as we do get the bandage toss going to land on the Waka, but he's going to be staying away. The flash from Cooper going to land onto the stun under Rock, and it's going to be first blood going in for Travis, but they are looking for more. The slow is going to land onto the Nidalee Glacial Fissure, not going to land, but the flash is there. The double kill for Travis as he gets the flash, and now a 3rd kill as No Name goes down. That is an explosive first 3 kills for the Reapers.
And it goes into our main point of this draft. If you can take the Nautilus out early, that is what you need to focus on. If you're the GRIN Reapers, taking Nautilus out, because the moment you do, everyone's just running.
Now with that Mountain Drake getting taken, next dragon is going to be a Cloud Drake. So, Kendo, my favorite part of the game, what's your thoughts? Is it going to be Mountain Drake or is it going to end up being an Infernal Drake here in game number 2?
I'm not a gambling man, as we will go to the replay of that fight towards the bottom. The chain CC here after Anderson Cooper grabbing Sussy Waka on the full. I love the timing with the additional stun. There was no way for Sussy Waka to get away from that, so it was a feels good, man. You know what? Let me think here. So we have Infernal, or we have the, let's see here, the Infernal or
Mountain. Right? No, Infernal
no,
or
no,
Ocean.
yeah, Ocean.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Infernal or Ocean. Sorry.
Infernal or Ocean. If I remember right, the last time that we did this, I betted on Infernal and it failed me.
Oh, okay. Keep that in mind.
We are going to bet on Infernal again because I am that type of guy. I stick with my guns.
There you go. That's what I like to see. And GRIN Reaper is liking what they're seeing right now in the bottom lane. Travis 2-0-1. Willard not with a lot of mana. Going to be able to disengage from Rock. as we do end up getting potentially a little bit of forward pressure from the Nidalee in the area, maybe trying to go for the Rift Herald, maybe trying to go in for an engage up against the Seraphine, who does not have teleport. Looking to maybe go back potentially, but nope. We end up seeing maybe both the junglers kind of waltzing around each other, waiting to see who's going to strike first, as we do get the ultimate from Waka here in the bottom lane. The Glacial Fissure is going to land on the table, and he loses his ability to stay hidden from that mist. Travis now going to be taking a turret hit. His table takes a little bit of damage, not going to land the root, but the teleport is going to be coming in. Will they be able to get any kills out of this one, as No Name ready to go with the action, and the hook is going to land on a bully. Will he be able to survive? No, or he does survive. No kills, as Ruck is now in the area, not going to be able to land the spear, and will disengage.
Well, that was a lot of resources expended for borderline nothing, and CBS is not gonna enjoy the return on investment there. Now 20 CS down. Barack will be waiting, potentially on the way back, looking for more. They are going to continue to keep this push, greeting for a plate. They do have Booty Bang and Billy as well going after plates. Will they actually not get this plate?
They got the plate,
okay,
and they got out of that one. It was close, though. They learned their lesson from last game, and they don't let Anderson Cooper come in with the Curse of the Sad Mummy and take that kill. So nice awareness.
I think that plate is still there. They did not get that plate. Oh my.
I was talking about the top lane plate, though, from Billy. I was more worried about that one. But no, that plate isn't taken, Kendo. You're right.
My goodness. Maybe a little bit of greed there, but they do not get punished for it. One of the things that really was a catalyst for both of these teams in the last game, you saw overcommits galore. This has been the polar opposite as far as the flow of the game. And I would say it's an invited change, but it definitely seems to be favoring the GRIN Reapers.
And so right now, 2-0-1 for Travis, which is definitely the big thing that you want, the Vayne wanting to get to that mid game to be able to just obliterate some of these lower health champions. Already on the track to be able to go for that Immortal Shield, though. No Kraken Slayer coming through. Even going to be able to get that lifesteal and that shield. So playing towards, those team fights, playing on the razor's edge. As Anderson Cooper does get the bandage toss onto the Rift Herald and smites away the Scuttle Crab, and then is going to bandage toss his way into Rock. Will not go for the Curse of the Sad Mummy. Does go for the Curse of the Sad Mummy. A lot of damage onto the Nidalee. Is going to have to flash away, as we do get a beautiful depth charge from Waka to keep him alive. Now, 4 members of the GRIN Reapers in the area. No one going down, as Billy might be the next target. Gonna be able to disengage, but that should mean Rift Herald for the Reapers, or at least an attempt.
I think they are going to secure here. Sussy Waka a little too far forward in addition. They may die for this anyway.
Encore! Beautiful encore coming in from Billy Willard, but no one going down yet, as Anderson Cooper does end up getting the kill on the Nidalee. The Rift Herald is still being attacked by the Reapers, as Billy is now in the area. Gonna go for the bowling ball, is gonna land on 2, but the Lilting Lullaby does not go in. The shutdown in the bottom lane against Travis, as Table takes that kill. Rift Herald getting taken by the Reapers.
My goodness. So it ends up being a 1-for-1. And if not for the flash there by Barack, we would see the gap in the jungle get even more dynamic. It's already a 2-level gap. You already see 30 CS difference between the two at the moment. And as that Amumu gets more and more thick, it's just going to be a much tougher uphill battle for Nidalee, trying to jump from lane to lane.
Well, Feathers and Fur did pick up the Rift Herald. He's going to have to teleport back to lane, which does give Billy a little bit of an advantage in terms of having that Summoner Spell ready to go. The Lilia has been performing exceptionally well. 134 CS to 117. Already has a Leandri's Anguish Kendo, this is a 500 gold lead for Lilia at the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, but you still have a 1,200 gold lead for the Amumu, and that is so much influence over the Rift coming out of the Amumu, because you automatically have a tank. There is no traveling Nautilus, a bard, for lack of better terms, to run around and try to be the additional game player in some of these exchanges. That Amumu is going to run this Rift unless they do something about it.
Right now, they're looking to keep that pressure going. The Reapers going towards the Cloud Drake. Will it be the Infernal Soul? No, Kendo, you are wrong again. It is an Ocean Soul here for this one. But now they may be looking for more. Nope, that's the disengage.
Well, shooter's gonna shoot, my friend. We're gonna be wrong again. Some people just like to watch the world burn, and some Rifts just don't like to burn, period. So... throw in the fact that we do have an Ocean Soul. Ocean Soul would be so dynamic on this Grin Reaper squad. That being said, CV Stonk squad, they want the full-on Ocean Dragon Soul right now. That could help them in their venture to be just a tiny bit more tanky.
First turret gonna go down. Billy, who has been dominant in the early game, up against Feathers and Fur, which is really strong. 0-0 and 0 for both top laners. First turret going towards the Lilia. That's an extra good amount of gold coming in, as Feathers and Fur has not even been able to touch the tier 1 turret in the top lane. He still has the extra little bit of pressure from Shelly that he can put down at any moment. But because there's no turret plates available, Kendo, he's not getting that extra 200 or 320 gold that he'd get from it when he drops it.
Yeah, so it's a sad dilemma not having any more plates. That being said, dropping it very important on the positioning. We'll drop a top lane here. Shelly is gonna get the charge in, but that I feel like you want to wait just a little bit longer and find a way to get more than just part of a turret with no plates. Find a better place to push it. The fact that it was put on the Feathers and Fur in the first place, I'm not too sure about the decision-making process.
I think it was more just kind of, hey, make sure that you get the Rift Herald. You don't want to get hit by anybody. Regardless of that, you know, with the extra turret, first turret gold going towards the Lilia, the gold lead in the top lane is now probably going to be massive at about 900 gold. Stabilizing coming in from Rocky still is behind by 1,300, but the shutdown keeping Senna in the lead. Anderson Cooper going to get the bandage toss, not going to land on the Waka though, as we do potentially see another team fight coming in just a moment. 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining until the Ocean Drake is spawning, but a team fight here could potentially be big if we are able to get it. Doesn't look like there is anything in the river though, Kendo, as both teams just are content with waiting until we get to that 20-minute mark.
Gotta give credit to Sussy doing a great job of keeping the Vision score up. That being said, the Vision has been, as you mentioned before, a little more one-dimensional than the previous. Night Harvester finally onto Barak, and that is going to be a huge power spike. Already has the penetration boots, so those spears are going to be much more lethal in the hands. The question is, will Barak be able to hit them consistently?
And that's an interesting play coming in, you know, Kendo. There's no magic resistance coming in from this Amumu. Yes, we see the Mercury Treads from Feathers and Fur, but he has 2 armor items. He has the Frozen Heart and then the Frostfire Gauntlet. I don't think that the second item of the Frozen Heart was maybe the best choice, but you know, he does have that extra armor to go up against the Senna and to go up against the action, so we'll be fine in that play. But with how good the Lilia has been playing, it's now going to be up to Booty Bang and Billy to have another standout performance. That is their win condition right now. If they get a huge lilting lullaby in these team fights, they could just obliterate some of these carries before they're able to get that damage out.
Agreed. And No Name has also done a great job of holding their own in the mid lane. So there is still plenty of potential as this is going to be Barack going on the bully. Billy Willard in the mid lane as well. We got multiple battles at multiple times. And on the losing end of it is Billy Willard as the Grin Reapers are getting flanked from every side. Bill Anderson Cooper goes down to the lullaby. Oh my goodness. The decision making by the Stonk squad.
Right on cue from Bully Bangin' Billy, going to get the huge lilting lullaby onto Billy Willard. Yes, he does get the encore, but the dot damage from the passive and the Leandri's Anguish coming in just in time. Up his first kill as we get to see that one again. CBS should be immediately able to go for the Drake. Now remember, Bully takes a lot of damage from Rock there, but look at the damage from that lilting lullaby into the W ability from Billy. He does flash away and gets the shielding from the Senate to be able to survive, but Rock says, let's just go in for it, and is able to get to that fight and picks up the second kill onto the Sad Mummy. As meanwhile, we go look at live. Billy is looking to be able to continue to keep it going. Feathers and Fur does have Fear Beyond Death. He is going to land it. He wants the kill. He doesn't get it. Billy survives by just the slimmest of margins.
Here's the other thing. Billy was able to grab a Raleigh Scepter on top of it. You consider the fact that the slows are going to be coming in off of the burn from the Leandri's Torment. This is a Lilia that could carry the entire game.
Oh, I think that, I mean, at this point, win condition is there. No magic resistance coming in from anyone of any real value yet on the Grin Reaper side. They have been worried about the Senna, and now Senna has two items, one ON1, similar CS with the Vayne. Ginsu's and Kraken Slayer are ready to go. Kendo, take a look at this replay again in the top lane.
My goodness, we do get a look yet again in the top lane. Booty Bangin' Billy. The one thing I was cautionary about in the very beginning of this is the fact that the Lilia likes to kite in circles around your... Oh, and we do have to come back to a mid-fight.
A little bit of damage as Table does go down. Waka will get hit by the Fear Beyond Death, so that is 2 kills for the Reapers. CBS will end up losing their bottom lane to a miscalculation in the river, and now they're going to be looking to be able to go for the Baron. That bowling ball does not land. A lot of damage already onto the Baron at around half HP. The spears are landing, but it's not enough damage as Bully is there. A lot of damage onto the Baron. Now 2,000 HP, 1,000 HP, and it will be the Seraphim picking up the kill on to Baron Nashor. Billy is going to run away, trying to be able to stay alive, and now Borok trying to be able to get away from Cooper and his bandage toss. Vayne with that extra little bit of movement speed, not going to end up keeping the pursuit as Bully wants to go for it, will not land the slow, so it will just be the Baron for the Reapers.
Oh my, so they do get away though, Stevie Stonk squad, without losing much more than that, and that just shows you the importance of Sussiwaka. In certain circumstances, you take Sussiwaka out, all of a sudden there's no one to go in. There's really no initiation for this team. There's no tank for this team outside of that Nautilus, and it changes the entire complexion of the game. If you're Feathers and Fur, you're looking for Sussiwaka every single stinking time. Oh man, this is going to be really good towards the end. Both teams having some very interesting win conditions, and that Lilia looking more and more stout.
Man, no, I mean, you think we're getting to the end of the game, Kendo? I think this game has just begun. This is going to be a really important and really long matchup coming in from both of these teams. Anderson Cooper is fairly tanky now, so they should have to run away as we do get a bottom lane tier 1 tower going down by No Name. They are going for the 1-3-1 play up against the Baron up team. Anderson Cooper going to get flown over under the turret. Curseless Sad Mummy's going to land on the walk as well as the Glacial Fissure, but it's not going to be enough damage. It's going to be the Dawning Shadows to keep the shield alive. And now Feathers and Fur is in the mid lane as well. It is a 4v4 as Waka very low on HP. Billy trying to be able to get his passive onto several members of the Listening Lullaby is not going to be able to land it. Seraphine does have teleport ready to go at any moment now, as we do get to potentially get to see whether or not this Lilia will be enough to keep CBS Stonk Squad alive. Baroque is in the area, will be able to get the spear onto Anderson Cooper to deny him from being able to go back. Table is pushing forward as we do get Travis and Bully or a Cooper trying to be able to keep this mid tier 2 tower alive. Lilia is now in the bottom lane, as it looks like they continue to keep up the pressure. Cooper without Curse of the Sad Mummy. Baroque is now in the area on the other side, gonna run away. So at the end of the day, everyone trying to get some damage in, but no one going down.
And in the process, they nerfed this Baron buff. Feathers and Fur are going to get a little bit of work at the tail end of it, but very little progress gathered from Grin Reapers out of the Baron, and they are going to essentially get a free Drake on top of it. Keep in mind, these Ocean Drakes are very vastly in the favor of CB Stonk Squad, because if you get some of these long distance attackers with 4 Ocean Drakes as well as an Ocean Soul, that all of a sudden it changes the entire complexion of this matchup.
5 members of Grin Reapers now in the top lane looking to disengage. They do get the last tier 2 tower, or the mid tier 2, top tier 2 tower and the mid tier 2 tower out of that one. Unbreakable is not ready as Booty Bang and Billy gonna be hit by the Curse of the Sad Mummy. The Encore is gonna land only onto 1 member as No Name is able to get out of that one. A little bit of damage to the Lilting Lullaby is gonna land onto 3. The Nautilus will go down, the damage is there, and the set is gonna be able to get 1. Amuba's gonna go down, and the action's gonna resurrect the Nautilus. A lot of damage, and the Nautilus is gonna be running back. Bully Bang and Billy with the extra movement speed is gonna be able to go down. So much damage from the rest of the Stonk Squad, but Billy Lillard does not go down. Travis does not go down. It is a 2 for 2, and a resurrection from CBS Stonk Squad, keeping it even.
Yeah, so it's technically a 3 for 2, but that's where the action starts to come in handy, because you can be a little bit more aggressive, and action can bring you back. So this may just come down to one of those team fights going the distance, and then an action resurrection bringing back someone above the cooldown. We do have the replay for that. Brilliant stuff from both Booty Bang and Billy as well as Sussy Waka to keep themselves initiated well. That extra amount of CS took everyone off. The sleepy time coming in, the Bully going down as well. It was great stuff. The problem is, I feel like you need a little bit more out of Sussy Waka. You need a little bit more sustainability in the middle of that fight, and all of a sudden, Ocean Soul is going to become the greatest ally of this CB Stonk Squad, Scott.
They both got 2 dragons at this point. Baron is spawning in 40 seconds. No Name does have his teleport to come in whenever he's needed, as Bully and Cooper are going to get a little bit of damage onto Waka. The teleport is going to come in from the Seraphine to be able to be ready for that play. So No Name will be able to keep his teleport for a little while longer in the bot lane. But it also means that Grin Reapers get vision out of the river next to the Baron pit.
Speaking of vision, there's not too much vision for CB Stonk Squad in the Drake side of things. The vision primarily on the side of Baron for both of these teams, and it's going to be interesting to see how they go about pushing it. The battle on the top side, so it's Booty Bang and Billy and Feathers and Fur going after each other for a moment there. Going to take half of each other's health bars and create a little bit of pressure, but Anderson Cooper gonna start the Baron up, but only for a moment.
Already. Travis is gonna go down as the Curse of the Sad Mummy lands, and a beautiful Encore is gonna land onto Rock and Waka, but they are still alive. Somehow, as we get Booty Bang and Billy, will go golden to be able to survive the damage will try to get away. He will get stunned out, and he will end up getting shutting down. Table is going to try to deal some damage onto Feathers and Fur. He will end up getting the Guardian Angel, but doesn't get much of anything else out of that one. However, meanwhile, in the bottom lane, action is going towards the inhibitor. Gets the inhibitor, and he's looking to be able to go for a Nexus turret as well. He wants the backdoor as the Nidalee takes on the Urgot. The backs are trying to happen, but they're not there. Only Billy Lillard and the Bully are alive, and they're trying to get back in time, but No Name, he wants to hero this one out. He's gonna get both Nexus turrets along with an inhibitor, and now in the mid lane, CBS Stonk Squad, we've got Table and Rock keeping up the health and keeping up the pressure. They're gonna take the tier 1 tower and the tier 2 tower out of that back door from No Name, who gets out alive.
Let's go fly a kite, Moose, because that is exactly what CBA Stonk Squad were able to do. They stopped the Baron. They continue to kite out that battle, somehow living through it. If I had to blame anything, you know, it's going to be the Ocean Drakes. The additional stats, the additional tankiness coming through in the clutch. But the Action, who was not there for the team fight, where you'd expect him to be, pulling off the full backdoor. We have a little bit of a replay for us. I'm interested to know where this is going to be. You see the Action already has taken down the turret, the inhibitor at this point, and they just keep this battle going. The unsung hero, though, Barack, coming in, taking Feathers and Fur completely out of it. Feathers and Fur was trying to teleport back. Nerfs them. Completely gone.
Live game. We've got two members of the GRIN getting hit by the Lilting Lullaby, but they're trying to be able to get out of this one. It's going to be a shutdown onto How I Met Your Table. The Lilting Lullaby not going to do too much for Booty Bang and Billy this time, but now he wants to kill onto Willard, onto Cooper. He's going to maybe bite off a little bit more than he can chew. No, he will not. He's just trying to delay the rest of the Reapers so that we get to see the Baron for the rest of CBS Stonk Squad.
Wow.
He has so much health regen from that Ocean Drake, and he is looking to continue to keep the harass up. There's no way that the Reapers are able to defend this Baron push, as Billy is able to deny any sort of push coming in from the Reapers. That is CBS with the Baron at the 32-minute mark.
And at this point, gold may be even. GRIN Reapers may be in charge of the attack, but the amount of pressure from this Baron buff in the next 3 minutes is going to be of the utmost. That would not surprise me if you saw at least one, maybe four down in that bot lane, getting the additional push with the Baron, and then more than anything else, it's going to be all around pressure. So expect a 1-3-1 perhaps coming out of this squad. As long as they can keep that pressure on, Stonks are up for the CB squad.
They don't even need to go bottom lane because the super minions are already there. So their focus should be in the top lane, into the mid lane as well. They've got 3 Ocean Drakes, 3 minutes remaining until that comes up, so that shouldn't be affected by this Baron push. But Teleport is ready for No Name, and Teleport is ready for Billy. At this point in the contest, it is now a lead for CBS Stonk Squad by about a 200 gold margin, but everyone is performing well on both teams, doing what they can to keep this game going. 34-minute match, one of the longest that we have seen in the live game, and we are going to see how it concludes as Cooper is going to try to race forward, will not get the bandage toss as he flashes in. Rock is going to get the spear on the Feathers and Fur, but it's not going to do much of anything there. Meanwhile, Bully Bang and Billy is going to be in the top lane trying to get that tower to go down. Rock now potentially going to be dove on by the Amumu. Nope, not going to be able to get out of that one, so it will be the tier 2 tower and the push continuing for CBS.
My goodness, this is the pressure that we're talking about. The 1-3-1 coming in. They have to commit multiple people to keep the pressure off on Barack, because there is no turret, there is no inhibitor, there is no back line for them to find themselves in. GRIN Reapers are desperately spread thin right now, just trying to defend, and there's still 50 seconds left on this buff.
are going to be used by Travis already, but the flash was already used by Ruck out of that last play in the bottom lane. A lot of damage already onto that tier 2 tower as we do finally get the bandage toss onto 3 for the Reapers. That is what Anderson Cooper was looking for, but will they get enough for it? Travis is going to be running away as Bully Bang and Billy tries to be able to get the bowling ball. He does not get it, and he ends up going down as Anderson Cooper now continues to keep it on to Susiwaka. Barak is going to be able to survive maybe out of this one, but the inhibitor respawns, and no inhibitors go down from this Baron push from CBS Stonk Squad. There are all 5 members of the Reapers alive, and they are going for the end. Kendo, this is disastrous for the Stonk Squad as the Reapers get the mid-tier 3 tower. They're gonna get the inhibitor as well, and now they're looking to end the game. What can this Nidalee do? As he tries to be able to do what he can, he's gonna go for the spears. Bully is there with the Unbreakable, but there's not enough that one cat can do when the entire house is burning. No one goes down, and CBS Stonk Squad with a major throw in game 2.
I'm speechless. I cannot believe. Okay, I imagine we'll get to see the very end of that one more time. We saw potentially Barak looking at the back door. I actually like that as a move. Going back and trying to backdoor at the tail end of that probably may have at least given us a base race that would have been worthwhile. Oh my goodness, though. That was a rough way to end. If you are CB Stonk Squad, you had GRIN Reapers on the ropes. They were all but done, and then everyone goes in. The most critical moment, the Vayne taking out the Lilia. Booty Bang and Billy finally got stunned by the Vayne coming in with the full-on damage. It was not enough, and CB Stonk Squad, that's a disappointing way to end that match.
Well, I mean, it was the 1-3-1. There was no reason for Barak to be in the bottom lane. The inhibitor was already down. The super minions were coming through. There's no way that you're going to be trying to push in unless you wanted to go for the Nexus itself, which is what you could have gone for. You didn't have to go through the mid lane. You didn't have to go through the top lane. You could have sent all 5 members towards the bottom lane and gone through that route that you had already created in that last play. But instead, you go for this weird 1v1-3-1 when most of your damage is in the top lane, in the team fight aspect of it, in the Lilia, in the top lane, but can't push that well. You don't have one of your ADCs in the top lane. Kendo, it's just disastrous from start to finish.
Yeah, they definitely overcommitted, and that was uncharacteristic given the fact that this entire game number 2 was exactly the opposite. It was no overcommits. There was very little kill pressure throughout, and I say that kind of tongue-in-cheek because I'm comparing it to game number 1 where we saw over a kill a minute. It was a non-stop slaughter fest, and this one, it was extremely tame. It was extremely calculated, and the fact that it was an overcommit that comes back to bite the Stonk Squad in the, well, the booty banging Billy, it's kind of tragic.
I mean, that's how game goes, especially at 36, 37 minutes into the game, which we're at, Kendo. Those death timers are massive. So if you end up falling short at the end of a game, if you end up making that mistake, it costs you, and it costs CB Stonk Squad game number 2 against the GRIN Reapers. It's a sad thing to see, but now we get our first game 3, our first real game 3 here in the live show. The last 3 sets that we've had, it's been a 3-0 stomp from one of these teams. This time, it is for all the marbles. This last game will determine who wins this series between GRIN Reapers and the CB Stonk Squad, and it's a big game, Kendo.
Yeah, this is huge because if you're the GRIN Reapers, you want to substantiate the fact that you are one of the top teams in this league. If you're CB Stonk Squad, every game, every win is going to count. especially when you are right there in that bubble, as they are currently. They are on the cusp here in week number 4, trying to make sure that they keep themselves right there in the running for the tournament, for the very end, for the playoffs portion of the league. So I just feel for them. That's so hard to recover. Just going straight in from game 2 to game 3 after that devastating a loss. It's going to be a lot to overcome for the Stonk squad.
Yeah, and you know, taking a look at some of these games across the split or across the league. I mean, we saw, let's see, let's take a look at what we've got right now. Lotus Black and Team Ambition Golden Age are currently 1-1 moving into game 3. That is a huge win for TAG. Puts Lotus Black at 9-2 right now. The Cape Dogs Unleashed are going to be able to 2-0 Central Sentinels for the time being, and then it is a 1-1 set between Degenerates and VBU.